Here's Mbappe! Oh my word! Teenage kicks! The ultimate teenage kick! The boy with the world at his feet! Kylian Mbappe! There ain't no stopping him now! The first teenage World Cup final goal since Pelé himself!
Kylian Mbappé. The name has been glued to the mouths of numerous soccer fans for the past couple of years with stellar performances in the league and on the international scene. Yet, with everything Mbappé has done for the sport of football, it seems as though Kylian Mbappé might have just created a checkmate situation that could potentially ruin football as a whole down the line. Let us explain. In recent news, one of the biggest shockers to come out of the summer break was that Kylian Mbappé had written via letter that he would not extend his contract with French club Paris Saint-Germain beyond 2024. His current deal is thought to be worth more than 1.2 million per week. But what if you told he could be making more than this in the upcoming years? Well, with the recent news that Mbappé is interested in exiting the French side, numerous stakeholders came to rise which would create a monopoly or shift the whole dynamic of football. While the club refrained from making any public statements about the situation, they responded to Mbappe's denial of contract discussions, stating that it was untrue. The growing divide between Mbappé and the club, one of Europe's wealthiest teams, could potentially lead to his departure from Paris, his hometown, possibly even this summer. There remains a slim chance of reconciliation, but it would require Mbappé to change his stance and sign a contract extension. For PSG, the idea of receiving nothing for a player they've invested over 500 million in since 2017 is unthinkable. Fear has risen among club officials that Mbappé has already committed to joining Real Madrid. Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, fueled speculation by positively responding to the idea of recruiting Mbappé in the future. As of now, Mbappé has reaffirmed his intention to stay in Paris for one more season and has officially notified the club that he won't be activating the extra year in his contract. While PSG had anticipated Mbappe's eventual departure, they did not expect it to become public knowledge through the letter. They had engaged in discussions with Mbappé and his mother, but the exact details of what transpired remain unclear, with only confirmation of his decision to leave. With that being said, the reason why Mbappé creates a problem for the entirety of the footballing world is mainly because he presents a stalemate situation. As many of us know, currently the Saudi Pro League, also known as the Roshan Saudi League, is growing at levels not seen before, with major signings of older yet experienced players with existing fan bases from Cristiano Ronaldo to Karim Benzema, all Ballon d'Or winners. Hence, with the rising quality coming from an Asian league, it presents many football fans with the question of whether or not the football scene will shift from Europe to known Saudi Arabia. The reason why this question remains pertinent to the point in time is now because of the recent news that a Saudi Arabian club reportedly offered PSG and Kylian Mbappé one of the biggest contracts in sports history, $1 billion for just one season. Now, the reason why players like Mbappé are big targets for the RSL is mainly because of what it does is legitimize their league and helps the scene of football shift down and ensures that more younger talent would feel comfortable coming to play in Saudi Arabia and not see it as a career ender the way that the more experienced players come to settle down the league. Therefore, the potential signing of Kylian Mbappé creates a domino effect where talent will also shift to the RSL as an effect of how popular and strong Mbappe's image is. This potential revolution could thus destabilize and create a battle for power amongst European and Asian football for mainstream media attention, which can lead to transitionary periods where football becomes more divided and political than ever before. On the other hand, even if Kylian Mbappé decides to reject his bid from Saudi Arabia, it still leaves a gaping hole of who will sign the young superstar. Looking at it logically, there are only a couple of options of where he could end up, with 2 or 3 creating a possible monopoly. With the Frenchman making it clear that he wishes to leave his side at the end of the season, when his current deal comes to an end, it only prompts chairman Nasser El-Khelafi to reject the notion that Mbappé could leave for nothing. In doing so, the current standoff has put several European clubs who fancy testing PSG resolve on high alert. As of right now, many sport analysts and trades have reported that the asking price for Mbappé will be close to 170 million euros today. In doing so, the only 3 teams that can sign Mbappé realistically are Manchester City, Newcastle, and Real Madrid. Both PSG and Real Madrid have been here before, with Mbappé entering the final 12 months of his contract. In 2021, the French side rejected a 154 million euro bid from the Spanish giants for a player they could have lost for free a short while later. As it turned out, the Parisians managed to convince the superstar to extend his stay with the aid of French President Emmanuel Macron, but have ultimately found themselves in the same position 2 years later. With Manchester City coming off a Champions League victory and the signing of superstar Erling Haaland, it will be hard to see the English side have both Mbappé and Haaland. Yet, if it ends up being the destination where the striker land, it creates an issue of a potential monopoly over the Premier League and the Champions League, which can offset other players from wanting to play in the Premier League due to the uneven distribution of superstars players and the formation of oil-funded super teams. Nonetheless, with the influx of superstars and funds from external parties, it also allows the sport to grow, but at what cost? On the other hand, if Real Madrid are to sign Mbappe, it can create the same issue in the La Liga and Champions League, with yet again the formation of a super team that can dissipate the league interest. Nonetheless, these are all hypothetical situations, which means that in the real world, none of these are bound to happen, but maybe some of the ramifications of major moves. Finally, the most optimistic perspective on this whole situation is the signing of Mbappe to Newcastle, the up-and-coming Premier League side who had an excellent last season. The even distribution of Mbappe around the Premier League can help bolster the league in a way that does not create a monopoly like Manchester City, but it also gives rise to a more even spread of competition and lets teams grow for the first time, allowing for solid longevity for the whole sport as a whole. All in all, the saga of Kylian Mbappe continues to grow into the biggest story in football for the summer of 2023. Yet, will we see if any further moves are made to acquire this generational elite player? Who do you think is the best fit for Mbappe? And do you think Mbappe will continue his levels of performance wherever he goes? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe and keep up with your ball knowledge.